Every time Classroom Close-Up came to West Milford, it was really an opportunity for people to see what was going well in education. New Jersey has incredible education, and just turning on your TV and getting a quick glimpse of a class doing something amazing just reinforces that idea.
We feel that right now there's a big sense of otherness, whether it's in the world or, day-to-day life, and we want our kids to not only focus on the other, but the other us, meaning, yes, they're other, they're different, but they're also very much like us.
Ready, set, go!
Together, the main goal is to strengthen our students' ability to be critical thinkers, problem solvers, and along the way, learn some science.
Hi, and welcome to a brand new season of Classroom Close-Up New Jersey. I'm your host, Sean Spiller. During the next half hour, we'll focus on exciting and innovative programs that happen every day in public schools around the state, just like we've been doing for the past quarter century. That's right, this is the start of our 25th season on the air. Upcoming shows will feature subjects as varied as sustainable farming, robotics, and forensics. And later in this episode, we'll explore global connections and STEM challenges. Before we do, we'd like to take a moment to consider why we share all this with you each week. We've invited teachers and school staff from past episodes to reminisce. So in celebration of our 25th anniversary, here's a look back through their eyes.
The closer you look, the more you can see. Classroom Close-Up, New Jersey.
Since 1994, Classroom Close-Up has been shining a spotlight on New Jersey public school educators and students, highlighting more than 1,600 programs and projects, opening a window for parents and people outside the education community, and serving as a source of ideas and professional development for teachers.
For years, we've been watching Classroom Close-Up, especially Sunday mornings with that cup of coffee getting ready for the week ahead.
We kind of live in our own cocoon as educators, and being able to see what great things are happening in New Jersey is a benefit because it makes you want to be better.
So if we start over again, we're going to recode him, right?
We're lucky enough to be an Ocean First model classroom. We created a STEM room innovation stations where we have centers that meet all learning styles and all abilities, where our students come in with all different challenges and work with their peer buddies to go through the different centers of circuits, robotics, 3D design, physics of fun, and of course coding.
Classroom Close-Up has helped get acknowledgement of just what our special engineers can do. Sky and I actually cry every time we watch it because we see our special engineers leading and being so proud of themselves, and that's not something that they're used to, and it's not something that the general public is used to seeing.
Students are watching Classroom Close-Up too, and they see that there's so much ability out there and friendships to be made, so it's for everybody.
Classroom Close-Up New Jersey has been part of my life since I started thinking about being an educator. As I was beginning to explore education as a college student, I would watch it as a resource to build my own craft, but I was also watching it in the way that teachers built personal relationships with their students. As I became part of the community of Classroom Close-Up New Jersey, I'd then take the chance to reach out into a community of learners and share more of my experiences.
Can you press that button right there?
Because I have seen all the wonderful things that teachers have done throughout the state of New Jersey on Classroom Close-Up, I have gotten many ideas from them, and I stand proud as a New Jersey educator thanks to seeing what they are doing through Classroom Close-Up.
Why did you decide to have female characters remind him of his family?
Well, that is a great question, because I think he was a young boy, and I think that he still got a lot of nurturing from his mother.
I had this connection with the author about the captive, and I thought, what a great way to show how we reach out to people in the community and try and reach the author and bring them into our classrooms. I teach 5th grade, so their last year is the year that they're with me before they go to middle school. A lot of kids put that as their favorite memory in their yearbook. Their favorite memory from school being Classroom Close-Up.
Giving parents the opportunity to see into the classroom and take a look at what their students are learning is extremely important. It allows them to understand what's going on with their kids' education and shows them that we're doing a good job as educators.
Every time Classroom Close-Up came to West Milford, it was really an opportunity for people to see what was going well in education and all the things that we do right. New Jersey has incredible education. We are one of the top-ranked states in the country, and I think people have really lost sight of that. And just turning on your TV and getting a quick glimpse of a class doing something amazing just reinforces that idea.
This show is an incredible show. You're showcasing heroes. It gives people an opportunity to see what the heroes are doing every day in the classroom. So I thank you for what you've done and the legacy you've created, and I'm so happy that I've been a part of that legacy.
Picture speak.
3, 2, 1.
Classroom Close-Up provided a really great tool for me to be able to share my program with parents. I was able to help parents buy into that idea that something magical was happening. Classroom Close-Up really told that story so well, so it generated a lot of enthusiasm and interest on the part of not only the kids, but also the parents and the community.
An initial around there if you've ever felt confused, entangled, wondering about other people, or been called names. Teaching is a very, very difficult profession, and through Classroom Close-Up, the fire for teaching can be rekindled. You see all of these people that you interview on Classroom Close-Up, and the common denominator of all of them are two things: enthusiasm and compassion. So it's a reminder that you need those things in the classroom. I'm a big proponent of catching people doing something right, and that's what you do on Classroom Close-Up. You're catching not only students, not only teachers, but the whole entire school community in town doing things right. And why wouldn't we want to see that? If we don't have a basis of what's right, how do we know what's right?
Compound word is two words put together to make one new word.
When you work with students with special needs, a lot of times what's perceived within them is their disability and what they can't do. However, with Classroom Close-Up coming into my classroom, working with my students had an opportunity to shine, for everyone to see what they can do, what they can achieve. There was no disability, it was just focused on their abilities. It's a lasting impact that I know my students will have forever. And I'm very thankful for that, for just showing the world what my students can do.
All right, the musical brush is a concept Miss Abby and I came up with, figuring a way to relate emotion in art and music.
As an educator, it's always nice to have your work highlighted, but especially as an arts educator, we spend so much time fighting for our funding that having something like Classroom Close-Up as a tool to use when you're building a campaign to save your funding in your school. Numbers are one thing, but seeing reactions of community members, of students, of them actually interacting with each other in the school in a positive manner, you can't measure that impact in numbers.
What's something that you remember you heard from the video last night?
If you already know one angle, if you try to find the other one, you have to subtract.
The segment that was featured on Classroom Close-Up was how a 4th grade and a 5th grade teacher flip their math instruction, where children and parents view a video on the content the evening before, and they are getting a first exposure to the material, and they're able to do a little bit of practice to see how they feel on the content, so that when they come into the classroom the next day, we can target their specific individual needs and really personalize instruction for difficult math content.
Lori and I sing the praises of the flipped model for instruction all the time to our school community, but Classroom Close-Up provided an opportunity for the students to share with an audience how they as individuals benefit from this model of instruction. And their message was so much more powerful than anything that Lori and I could have said. So we actually reached a larger audience as well, just by having the children share their experiences.
Me and Chris Stevens will be teaching about our community, how to keep it clean, how to be safe in it, and we'll give you prizes and rewards whenever you do a good job.
14 years ago, JA was reaching just 14,000 students in the state of New Jersey. We were considered a best-kept secret. And today we'll be reaching more than 73,000 students. And two of those initiatives that have grown dramatically have been Finance Park and the High School Hero Initiative, both of which Classroom Close-Up has spotlighted 5 times throughout the past decade.
1 nickel plus 10 cents.
We absolutely do attribute the growth of these programs and the growth of our brand in the state of New Jersey to the Classroom Close-Up segments.
How to measure the height. 2 things we should know. What is that?
I told them we need to measure the height of Patterson Great Falls.
Can you see it clearly here? Classroom Close-Up inspire me and improve our ideas about teaching subject. I have learned a lot experience added to my experience from educators, great educators and staff show us different methodology, how to teach English, how to teach mathematics, how to teach chemistry in different ways.
If you take this parallax concept, it's not only used for terrestrial objects, but it's used to measure some of the most distant objects in the universe.
I traveled to the sites of the Holocaust during the summer of 2014 with a Holocaust survivor and hidden child Maldami and the amazing crew accompanying us. And then they decided to come back and look at a lesson that we created, my colleagues and I created, from the lessons we learned during our trip to the sites of the Holocaust. It was that impetus to just go bigger and just so beyond my classroom, so beyond my school, into the community and the world.
It's been now mandated in the state for students to learn about the Holocaust. So for people to see a film with their fellow teachers being there and the teachers themselves who were there has changed them forever. And to me, it has such an impact because I realize now how many students have benefited from what these teachers have seen at the different sites.
Say hi, Dr. Winkler. Hi.
The Holocaust Commission was established in 1982 when Governor Tom Kean appointed the first commission in the country to look at studying the Holocaust and all issues of genocide dealing with bias, prejudice, and intolerance.
When the Holocaust Commission was formed, Dr. Paul Winkler became the executive director. And he was just wonderful. And all the work that he has done to promote Holocaust education and to work with Classroom Close-Up, it's sad that he's gone, but I think his legacy will live on. And you've helped in making that live on through Classroom Close-Up.
Some of you are working on your scripts, some of you are working on the video itself. Go ahead and split off and be global.
Students and teachers at Hillside School are building connections and tackling the world's problems by creating global classrooms.
Global Classrooms is a project that connects students at Hillside School with students in other locations. They could be students in Dubai, they could be students in Singapore, or as the students that I teach, we're connecting with students in Cleveland, Ohio. And the purpose of the project is for students to begin to understand that they are a part of a local community, but they are also part of a broader global community.
The project was funded through a grant from the Hipp Foundation and involves multiple teachers and classes working on an assortment of projects spanning subjects including language arts, music, and science.
Hey, Mr. Rodriguez's class. My name is Emma. I'm a 10-year-old 5th grade student that goes to Hillside Intermediate School in New Jersey.
For this Global Classrooms project, students are writing and filming personal video biographies to exchange with counterparts in Dubai.
We learn LAL, Language Arts and Literacy, as well as math, social studies, and science. What topic or subjects do you learn in your school?
We feel that right now there's a big sense of otherness, whether it's in the world or, day-to-day life, and we want our kids to not only focus on the other, but the other us, meaning, yes, they're other, they're different, but they're also very much like us. Just building that compassion and pulling that out of them.
Plastic's non-biodegradable, just like this shirt.
In science, students are learning how what they consume and where it comes from impacts the world.
100%
Polyester, okay, 100%.
Yeah, 100% polyester.
Okay, so we got polyester, some blends. Did you get a country where that's made from? So I have El Salvador, India, Mexico, China, Indonesia, Cambodia. Arming students with this knowledge of where your clothes come from means that we're not just buying clothes anymore. We're not just buying water bottles. We're aware of the impact that they make on the environment.
Tell me, what do you remember about the proper etiquette for conducting an interview? My students have been researching service learning topics of concern to them here locally, and then developing service action projects that they can implement at the same time that our Cleveland partners are looking at local problems in their own community, and they are implementing service action projects in their community.
What can we as kids do to help with the homeless animal problem?
My favorite question. There are tons of ways that you can help homeless animals and advocate for animal welfare.
Today, they were actually trying to connect with experts in the field and conducting interviews via Google Hangouts or via Skype, or even in-person interviews to gain more knowledge about the reason for the problem and how they might help the problem.
How did you get into this field of helping?
How did I get it? I started 24 years ago with an exercise class at the Senior Center for Seniors.
Dr. Macht gave us a list of 6 topics, so I picked seniors because I knew there were all these problems, so I just wanted to get to know why these problems are happening and how I can help them. In your opinion, what is the biggest problem that the young generation is facing with education? What specific school supplies do Kenyan and Tanzanian children need?
How much is the government investing in education in Kenya? We're learning about education in East Africa, about how children don't get a meaningful education every day like we do.
I think people tend to ignore things outside of their backyard because they haven't really expanded their mind to new challenges. And the fact that we get to learn all about this is very interesting, and it helps us know that there's more things in the world than just our backyard. We learned that they have their own dance team called the Roxys, and they even made it into a movie. And one of the Roxys are 94 years old.
Global Classrooms was designed to bridge cultural gaps and shatter stereotypes by celebrating commonalities and differences.
The birth of Global Classrooms really came from an expression that I have hanging in my classroom that I've had for years, and that is, the world in which you were born is just one model of reality. Other cultures are not failed attempts at being you. They are unique manifestations of the human spirit. And it actually all came from that one quote, everything else that we have done since.
So what do you think we should put here?
It makes me I want to help those people. I want to make them have a future, a good future, so they can succeed and let their families get out of poverty. Because when they succeed in the future, they're not only helping their families to get out of poverty, but they're also helping their community.
I think I've been taking education for granted, and now it's really opened my eyes, and I want to help them. It's not just us in the world doesn't revolve around us, and if we learned about everything that's good and everything that's bad, then we can help other people and put people before us and not ourselves first. It's helped me grow as a person and understand it because now I know things I can help with.
I think that this is a very important time for a project like this because I think it's important for people to remember that no matter where you are from, you have something to contribute to our society and to all of the planet. And so it's important for us to appreciate each other as human beings and as citizens of the earth. He works in a national park in Kenya, and it's a very remote
Okay, STEM Pals 2, we're ready. I saw some of you came in and you introduced yourselves. You really want to get to know each other today, so what we're going to have...
Marisa Castronova-Waz and Jessica Palumbi have teamed up again to bring their students a new round of STEM-based challenges.
Miss Palumbi, we're going to show you a few structures from our side. Our kids
On a previous episode, we saw both teachers and their students use Google Hangouts to interact with one another. They worked on several STEM-based exercises simultaneously and shared valuable advice and feedback with each other. But this time, the elementary and middle school students got together at one school to work in teams on a new STEM challenge.
Like, instead of 4, we should do a 6.
The pasta will go through the ziti, and then we will glue the lifesavers on both ends, but close to the...
This year's challenge had the 4th graders teaming up with the 7th and 8th graders to build a unique car.
The goal for today was to build a car completely made out of pasta. We had spaghetti for axles and ziti. There was lasagna and jumbo shells and manigot for, the body of the car.
And so the whole goal of the car with a model to represent a ride that would be able to go through the center of an amusement park. And so we came up with 4 criteria.
The criteria to measure a car's performance were distance, speed, accuracy, and cost efficiency.
Ready, set, go!
So we're going to use 2 pieces of lasagna, and we're going to form a point at the end so it's aerodynamic, it'll cut through the air.
As middle schoolers, we think very in the box, we think one certain way, but when we meet the elementary school kids, they think very outside of the box, and they present new ideas that we hadn't thought of.
Pretty
We
close,
should
right?
cut a bit off.
Yeah, we'll cut a little bit
Because
off.
it will slide a lot.
So let's move it all to the side so we can make it even. So now we're finding a way to incorporate both of our ideas in one car and make sure it works efficiently, has all the aspects of a great car. We're learning more about what each of us think individually and as a team.
There's one shorter side, and you can cut it to make it even shorter too.
We're sharing information that I never thought I'd be sharing with a 4th grader ever, to work with them, and they challenge us and we challenge them, and it just feels like such a cool partnership that I feel really lucky to have.
Beautiful. It allows them to be more sympathetic, empathetic to the world around them, because it teaches them that all students, all people need to be able to get along and communicate. 2, 1,
So on our first couple tests, we had this problem where the front axle was shifty and it kept turning.
Yeah, we have to make this more stable, because what happens is it goes like that.
So what we decided to do was, for a quick fix, we put the back wheels in the front and the front wheels in the back.
The kids will be putting in their data in real time, and it will show how they're doing in the 4 data points. So if their car, let's say, goes 1.5 meters, we can input that there. They can look at their 4 criteria and they can see their car's strengths and their weaknesses. And they can also look in their data in comparison to the other groups, because we work in real time, so they can make adjustments that way.
1 meter?
Giving students the confidence to go into any situation, regardless of their previous experience or even their perception of things. I think we really try to teach our students that they can do anything.
3, 2, 1.
Nice, a little bit further, so calculate your stuff.
When you test on the ramp, it goes way off course, and so you can learn from what you did wrong.
So it's over 2.
I think that I was most impressed with my 4th graders because we really saw them jumping into leadership roles instead of just waiting around for the middle schoolers to tell them what to do. They were the ones doing the measurements and taking the calculations, and they wanted to go up and input the data, and I think it really challenged them to step outside of their comfort zone a little bit.
They learn so much from working with the 7th graders, and not just about science, but they learn about working in a group,
how to divide up the tasks among them and problem solve together, and it's nice to have role models for my fourth graders in doing that.
Also, the great thing was from the first Hipp grant till now was it allowed us to buy technology that we're able to use in the classrooms. It's so great that the Hipp grant allows teachers to take an idea and to just keep going with it.
Nowhere in any of the trials that we did in our own classrooms had the car gone that far. They used all of their previous experience, all of their previous trials, and they ended up creating a better final product today. I knew that they were using what they had done with their STEM pals and the knowledge that they had gained prior, and they rolled it over to today, and they made it work for them. I know you're in my room, and I never saw the car during all our trials go that far.
We worried more about the axles and the actual shape of the car. My favorite part was working with all of different types of minds and putting our ideas together to get good results.
Together, the main goal is to strengthen our students' ability to be critical thinkers, problem solvers, and along the way, learn some science. So having that opportunity for the two of us is great.
It's a great feeling.
Super 6!
Collaboration between students solving real-world problems. It's an encouraging vision of the future that we're happy to share with you. If you missed any part of this episode or to search our video library, please visit our website, classroomcloseup.org. Next time, we'll focus on life skills in the classroom and beyond. That and more inspiring stories from our great public schools. Until then, for Classroom Close-Up New Jersey, I'm Sean Spiller. See you soon. Bye.